Okay, so we'll get on to fats now. Fats. What does everyone know about fats?
Good and bad fats.
Good and bad?
Makes you fat.
Okay, we'll have a look at that. Makes you fat. We'll have a look at that as we go through. Do fats make you fat? Okay. Anything else?
Protects internal organs. Fuel for low intensity workload.
Cool. All right, so we've got some of the functions of fat. Now this is why they're so important. Formation of virtually all the cells. Every cell membrane, which is the lining around the outside of the cell, is made of fats. If you have or advise someone to go on a low-fat diet, your cells cannot repair themselves. If your cell is weak, your body is weak. That is sort of like a brittle skin, flaky skin. Your cells aren't healthy, they aren't strong, because you haven't got the fat there to keep them strong, to keep them healthy. So we need the proper fats in the diet to stay healthy on a cellular level. If we stay healthy on a cellular level, we stay healthy on an organism level, which is the human body. And we looked at the organisation of life. It goes from cell to to tissue, to organ, to system, to whole system, to organism, which is the human body. They all impact each other. You can't have an unhealthy cell, but a healthy body. Formation of myelin sheath within the nervous system. Your nervous system cannot function correctly without healthy fats. Your nervous system is the most important system in the body because it controls everything. So if we aren't taking in the good fats, we cannot function properly. We cannot think properly. We cannot move properly. Every single reaction in your body, all redox reactions, cannot function properly. Your metabolism can't function properly. Everything. That's why fats are so essential. So all these people on these low-fat diets, I can't eat this, and I can't eat that because of the fat, or I can't eat avocados because they're too fatty. That's one of the worst things you can say, because fat is essential for those very reasons. And we've got more here. Synthesis of steroid hormones. Steroid hormones. What are steroids? What do they do in the body? What do steroids do? If you've got a bodybuilder on steroids, what happens to him? Okay, so it grows and repairs cells, not just muscle cells. Your body produces a certain amount of steroid hormones. Growth hormone, testosterone, they're there to build up every single cell in your body. For our body to be able to use these growth and repair hormones, that's not to say if you create testosterone and growth hormone, you're going to get great big muscles. They're there to repair bone. They're there to repair your stomach tissue. They're there to repair your liver tissue. They're there to repair all the different tissues of the body. The skin. You need it to repair your skin. So if you've got bad skin, you need steroid hormones to repair skin. But if you haven't got the right fats in, you cannot use them. You cannot synthesize them. You cannot make them. So again, fats. Very, very important. Assists in the regulation of enzymes. So again, it keeps our metabolism in check. It makes the chemical reactions happen properly. Protection of the internal organs. We have what's called sort of an intra-abdominal fat. That's the fat that surrounds the internal organs. There is a certain amount needed because it helps protect them. If we don't have that protection there, so if we get people who want to be at 0% body fat, if they don't have that, then they're going to be in a lot of trouble. That's why low body fat is not necessarily a great thing to have. Because if you tap into that sort of intra-abdominal fat, you can start to get into trouble with regard to your internal organs. So we've got to make sure we're getting the right amount of fat. Transportation, storage and utilisation of vitamins A, D, E and K. Again, if we don't get fats in, we can't use them. Vitamins are... So if you've got someone on a low-fat diet, but high vitamin, they're not being used. They're not being transported. So they can't use the vitamins they're putting in their body. They can't be utilised. Fuel source during low-intensity activity, walking. Again, we've got to have good fats going into the body to be able to keep us moving. I consider myself to eat a high-fat diet. Look at me. I'm 10 stone. I eat a high-fat diet. Base the majority of my meals on avocados. Lots of olive oil. Lots of nut oils. Seeds. That's what I base my meals on. What most people go into a meal thinking is, what am I going to have with my meat and potatoes? My thinking is, what am I going to have with my spinach, kale and broccoli? I'm flipping the thinking. So again, that's sort of the importance of fat. And as you can see there, our body can't function without it. So if we get anyone who comes to you, again, you know, what do you know? You've been here for 6 weeks. That's all you need to know. What's written on there? You might want to just go online and just back it up with some stuff, but essentially that's all you need to know with regards to the importance of it. Yeah, that's what they say, base it on carbs. I choose not to. Yeah.
So for someone who wanted to lose weight, you put them on a diet, carbs and good fats.
Yeah, good fats. Lots of good fats as well. Good fats have got a very good cleansing process, properties. They help cleanse. They help rid the fat stores of fat. You know, that doesn't make sense. Fat makes you thin, huh?
Well, coconut oil is supposed to be very good.
Coconut oil. Coconut's more towards the saturated fat, but what coconuts have got is they've got a lot of the minerals, which are very good. So coconut oil is a great one. It's also a very good substitute for things like butter and margarine, because you can get tubs of coconut oil and it's solid. It's like butter. You can go in with a knife, scrape it off, and put it on some toast or some bread. What I've also done in the past, then crack a little of real, proper, unprocessed salt on there. Tastes incredible. You tell me healthy food doesn't taste good, try that, it tastes incredible. Fats are triglycerides. Triglycerides, can anyone think what they might look like? They've got 3 of something, good. Triglycerides, so they've got 3 of something, and that's what we're going to look at in a second. Three fatty acids on a glycerol backbone. 3 fatty acids on a glycerol backbone. All of these backbones are carbon and hydrogen.
So the actual strain is the fat
That's a fat. So this bit here is a fatty acid. That's called a fatty acid. If you get one of those on its own, it's called a free fatty acid. It's made up of carbon, which is in the middle, and hydrogen, which is on the outside. As we go through, there's sort of three types of fat. Does anyone know the three types of fat? Oh, we'll call it four then. Saturated, polyunsaturated, monounsaturated, and then our trans fats. With saturated, that just means they're saturated in hydrogen. And as we move through, we'll look at trans fats, and you'll start to understand the detrimental effect of hydrogens and why saturated fats have a detrimental effect because of that saturation of hydrogens. What's the cause of muscle fatigue? What's the real cause of muscle fatigue? I've mentioned it already. Accumulation of something. Not lactic acid, that's what most people think it is. Hydrogen ions. And there they are. So if we are saturated with hydrogen, we already know it has a detrimental effect on the body with regards to muscle fatigue. If hydrogen ions build up in the muscle, our muscle stops working. So saturated fats are saturated in hydrogen. Hydrogen in a saturated form is not a great thing for the body. When we move on to unsaturated, there's a difference. We've still got hydrogen all the way around here, but then we've got some spaces. Those are then called unsaturated fats because they are not saturated with hydrogen. They are the ones that are good for us. The unsaturated fats. The monounsaturated fats. The polyunsaturated fats. They are healthy fats because they are not saturated in these hydrogens, which are bad for us. Or too many of them are bad for us. If we overaccumulate the amount of hydrogen ions we have, they're bad. So if we have too many trans fatty foods, they're bad. If we have too much saturated fats, they're bad. That's why we eat, or we're meant to eat, mono and polyunsaturated fats.